Squirrels' teeth never stop growing, but the animals wear them down by gnawing on nuts and other hard foods. The front of the rodent's teeth is actually orange. It's because they're covered in special tough enamel. Bet you're glad you don't have that to deal with. Some bird species don't mind munching on chili peppers. That's because they can't feel the heat. Peppers burn your mouth because they contain a special chemical, capsaicin, but birds don't have the taste buds needed to feel its effects. The rhino's horn is made of hair, or at least the same protein that makes up your hair and nails. This protein is called keratin. Such a horn is kinda unique since other animals have horns with a bony center. The woodpecker can peck the wood 20 times per second. This pace is almost too high for the human eye to notice. How much wood would a woodpecker peck if a woodpecker could peck wood? The number of pecks often reaches a total of 8,000 to 12,000 a day. A starfish does have eyes, one on the end of each of its arms. These eyes are light-sensitive groups of cells. Frogs don't need to drink water. Instead, they have an area known as the drinking patch. It's on their bellies and thighs. They use it to absorb water directly through the skin. Well, that could save some time. Most caterpillar species have around 4,000 muscles in their body, and almost 250 of them are in the head alone. Christmas tree worms are much more beautiful than you can imagine. But even though the pines look awesome, 2/3 of the worm's body is hidden in a calcium carbonate tube. And the point of this is, I don't have one. Narwhals' famous tusks are actually their teeth that are kind of turned inside out. These unicorns of the sea have just 2 teeth, and in males, one of them grows right through their upper lip. Unlike your teeth, this one is tough inside and sensitive and soft on the outside. The anteater doesn't have teeth, but it's not a problem. This creature has a super long tongue. This tongue helps the animal lap up more than 35,000 termites and ants every day. Well, that's one way to lick hunger. The flea can jump more than 200 times their body length. If humans had such an ability, they would jump as high as the Empire State Building. Woohoo! The red-eyed tree frog's eggs can hatch earlier if they sense their environment isn't safe. Small animals with fast metabolism see in slow-mo. This helps them escape larger creatures. Koalas' fingerprints are very, very similar to the human ones. Sometimes these animals' fingerprints even get confused at crime scenes, probably in Australia. The hippo's sweat is pink and not exactly sweat. It's a reddish, oily fluid. Its function is to not cool the body, but to moisturize the skin and protect it. This fluid also functions as an antibiotic. So, you get sunburn or cut, you can smear a hippo all over you. Polar bear skin is black, and the hairs of their coat are hollow and almost see-through. These animals have fur growing even on the bottom of their paws. This gives them a better grip on ice and protects against cold. Some species of tarantulas, some of the largest spiders in the world, can live without food for more than 2 years. I still think they're creepy. Platypuses close their eyes while swimming. They have special folds of skin covering their ears and eyes. They prevent water from getting inside. These animals' nostrils also have a watertight seal. Emus can't walk backwards, but scientists aren't sure why. These flightless birds are the only ones that have calf muscles. Emus can sprint really fast. They can also travel long distances, but they can't back up. Crocodiles can't move their tongue because it's attached to the mouth roof. It keeps the throat closed and protects the animal's airway. Water snakes, dolphins, whales, alligators, crocodiles, and turtles can drown. It'll happen if they stay underwater for too long. These animals can't breathe in the water. They can just hold their breath for a very long time. Only one species of birds can fly backwards. That's hummingbirds. Hey, go talk to the emu. These tiny birds can also beat their wings up to 80 times per second. Despite what elephant shrews look like, these small animals are more closely related to elephants than shrews. Maybe that's why they have their trademark trunk-like noses. Elephant shrews use them to munch on insects. True enough. Cats, as well as other felines, can't taste sweet things. They don't have the taste buds needed for that. Too bad, more for me. Flamingos can only eat with their heads upside down. That's why their lower bill is massive and their upper bill isn't fixed. Such an arrangement is perfect for upside-down feeding. But it's the opposite of what other birds have. It's not easy being pink. Tiger skin is as striped as their fur. That's all I have to say about that. When toucans sleep, they curl into pretty tight balls. These birds can turn their head so that their tail covers their head and the beak rests on the back. So yeah, they have a ball. The ostrich has some of the largest eyes in the animal kingdom. They're more massive than a bird's brain. Each eye is as big as a billiard ball. All clownfish get born male, but in some circumstances they can turn into females. This change is irreversible. Unlike most fish, when seahorses mate, they do it for life. Even cuter, when the mates travel, they move side by side and often hold on to each other's tails. The male usually gets stuck schlepping the luggage. Termites never sleep. They don't need to recharge their batteries. But they can eat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on your house. The sloth needs up to 2 weeks to digest its food. Hey, take your time, no hurry, nothing on the schedule. Dogs' nose prints can be used for their identification. They are similar to human fingerprints and unique for each animal. Owls don't have eyeballs. Instead, they have eye tubes that don't move in the eye sockets. Penguins don't have external ears, but their hearing is especially sharp, especially when they're on the lookout for polar bears. Shh, let's not tell them. Jellyfish are up to 98% water. That's why when they get washed ashore, their bodies can evaporate into the air after just a few hours. If a traffic jam happens underwater, an alligator will always give way to a manatee. Nice manners. Grizzly bears have such a strong bite that they can crush a bowling ball. So it's smart just to let them win. Giant pandas aren't picky about their sleeping spots. They usually fall asleep wherever they are, in most cases right on the forest floor. The giant panda's newborn cubs are tiny. They weigh like a small cup of coffee and are smaller than a mouse. The red handfish can walk along the ocean floor with the help of its hands. But of course, they are not hands, but evolved fins. Really. Cats don't usually meow at each other. A study has shown the felines use this way of communication mostly to get attention from us humans. And it works. Sloths can't shiver. It's not that they're too busy digesting that 2-week-old meal. Their fur is sometimes covered with algae, and when they get too hot or too cold, their metabolism shuts down. During the hard times, immortal jellyfish transform themselves back into their younger state. Once they reach the stage when they're nothing but a blob of tissue, like me, these creatures start to grow again, and this process can apparently repeat again and again. The closest living relatives of the T-Rex are chickens and ostriches. Don't turn your back. The moray eel has another set of jaws that can extend from his throat. First, the main jaws close around an unlucky sea creature. Then the additional set grabs the eel's future meal with backward-pointing razor-sharp teeth. And after that, the captured animal gets dragged back into the eel's throat. I just lost my appetite. Some species of snails have hairy shells. Thanks to these hairs, snails can better stick to wet surfaces. When humpback whales hunt, they often gather in a group and apply a bubble net tactic to catch their food. The bubbles don't let the schools of fish get away. Snow leopards can't roar like other large felines. It has to do with their less developed vocal cords. But these animals can meow, growl, hiss, and even purr. Not to drift away from their group while napping, sea otters hold hands. They can also entangle themselves in giant seaweed for the same purpose. Hey, it helps. Lions are often called the king of the prairie. I thought it was the king of the jungle. And still, up to 90% of all the hunting in the pride is done by the females. The males are in charge of protecting the territory and the pride members. And they make the delicious potato salad known as Hakuna Matata. Cats are famous for their uncanny ability to move their ears, all because kitties have 32 muscles in each outer ear. Some shark species can glow in the dark. Unfortunately, only other sharks can see this greenish glimmer. You have up to 8,000 taste buds, but your pooch has just a bit over 1,500. The blue jay can imitate other birds. Its favorite is a hawk's call. The blue jay uses it to scare away other birds from its territory. Slow lories are insanely cute and just as treacherous. They're the only known venomous primates. They have a gland in the crook of their inner arm. It secretes toxins that can cause unpleasant consequences in people. The hartebeest has an amazing evasion tactic. To run away from other animals, they move in a zigzag pattern. Bottlenose dolphins have names for one another. Those are specific whistles. Hey Bob, hey Charlie, hey Dolly, hey boys, and thanks for all the fish. Giraffes have long, and I mean it, black tongues. Scientists suppose this color might protect the tongue from getting sunburned. Well, that's all I got. See ya.
Animal lovers are everywhere. Those of us who think of ourselves as animal lovers think we know so much about their world, when in reality, we really know so little. And some things we think we know are actually not true at all. I'm Mike with List 25, and today we'll take a look at 25 facts that may change the way you see the creatures all around you. #25. Windows kill millions of birds every year. The number of birds killed by hitting windows each year can range anywhere from 100 to 200 million. This happens for a variety of reasons. Sometimes a bird will either see plants placed just beyond the glass or the reflection of natural vegetation outside. They naturally see this as an opportunity to find food and head directly for what they believe to be real, only to smack into the window with such force that it kills them. Springtime is the most likely time for this phenomenon to occur, as it's the season when male birds are looking to mate and creating and defending their newly established territories. These birds see their own reflections and attempt to drive away what they perceive to be an intruder. It is such a problem that there are dozens of products on the market to prevent birds from dying, which include frosted dot stickers, bird decals, and polarized films that ward the birds away. 24. Mickey has a serious tummy ache. You see evidence of a mouse, or worse, a big rat in and around your house. You want to get it out of there because it's getting into your pantry and helping itself to certain dry goods, or maybe getting into your garbage. Setting traps often doesn't work, so you switch to rat poison. Why are rats and other rodents so good at escaping other methods, but rat poison almost always works? Well, the answer is because rodents, including rats, mice, hamsters, guinea pigs, etc., do not have the ability to vomit. Rodents have a strict one-way digestive system, which doesn't allow for vomiting. Although their defense mechanisms include their keen sense of smell and taste, many rat poisons are able to disguise any detectable traces of the poison. Rodents who ingest any type of dangerous substance become nauseated, the effects of which mirror intoxication. Since rats can't vomit, well, they have no choice but to let the contents of their stomach pass through their digestive system naturally, bringing about death. It kind of makes you wonder what happens to Mickey when he has a bad snack at one of his parks. 23. Killer whales? Who didn't get the feels when Willie was finally free from captivity? Everyone wanted to see that killer whale sent back to his pod. I wonder if people who saw that movie would have felt differently if they knew what Willie really was. See, killer whales are not really whales at all. They're actually a member of the Dolphinidae family, otherwise known as, dolphins. Both whales and dolphins are a part of the cetacean killer whales, or orcas as they are more commonly known. and they share far more characteristics with dolphins than whales. Their bodies have many of the same characteristics as dolphins. Large dorsal fin for more precise moves when hunting, a more compact build in their bodies, a curved head with a more aerodynamic snout. They even have longer teeth than whales, which can reach up to 4 inches in length. And finally, the largest orcas are a little over 30 feet, while whales can reach up to 100. So, how did they end up being called killer whales? The common theory is that sailors of old witnessed one hunting everything from seabirds, seals, and sea lions all the way up to squid, sharks, and whales. They started calling them whale killers. And over time, that morphed into killer whales.
22.
The king of the jungle? The male lion. The king of the jungle, the most feared of all the animal kingdom. The huge mane surrounding fierce eyes and powerful fang-line crushing jaws. You've heard stories of these majestic beasts since childhood. They strike fear into all other species, including us humans. But the truth is, the mighty predators of every pride, it's the females. Male lions are tasked with keeping the pride safe. When they fight, it's for supremacy of the pride. And when they kill, it's primarily to defend it. The female primary function is to hunt and kill for food. They keep the pride alive. Lions are also primarily nocturnal, preferring to sleep the sweltering savanna days away and hunting by night. So when Disney's Lion King came out, when they showed the female lions hunting, well, at least they got that part correct.
21.
Okay, that's just gross. Vultures are, putting it lightly, not the world's most cuddly avians. Baby owls? Cute. Swans? Elegant. Mean, sure, but still elegant. Ducks? Mostly funny because they make great cartoon characters. Woo! But vultures? They're truly ugly when born, and they grow to be creepy-looking scavengers that feast on decaying corpses. Nothing about them is appealing. But it gets worse. Like every animal, vultures can have a rough time during the summer. They have to find ways to deal with heat and cool their bodies. The solution? Well, vultures poop on their own feet to stay cool in the summer. They eat decaying corpses and poop the undigested remains onto themselves.
20.
Arctic masters of disguise. Remember the joke when you were a kid that you'd hold up a plain piece of paper and say, "Look, it's a polar bear in a snowstorm"? It's very likely that you get more eye rolls than laughs. That's because it's a bad joke. Anyway, polar bears are awesome creatures. They're huge, powerful hunters at the top of the Arctic food chain, due in part to their white bodies helping them blend into the Arctic surroundings. If one was to look across the tundra and see a polar bear, they would most likely think they were looking at a snowdrift. But the truth of the matter is that polar bears are not technically white. A polar bear has black skin over a thick layer of fat that helps them survive the icy climate. Their fur is actually clear, as well as hollow. The fur also reflects all wavelengths of UV rays, which gives it the appearance of being white. A polar bear's black skin absorbs the heat from the sun's rays, while the fur absorbs the light. Because it's hollow, each hair functions as a tiny fiber optic cable, which filters the light into the skin, helping to warm the layers of fat, which keeps the bear warm. Unfortunately for these bears, their habitat is warming at a rapid rate and decreasing. This is forcing them into warmer climates as they look for new food supply sources to replace those that have been taken from them.
19.
Okay, that's just odd. Everything that eats must also poop. It's a law of nature, sometimes on yourself to keep cool. That's a callback. If a creature eats and cannot expel that which is not used for life, that life becomes very uncomfortable. So just be thankful you're not a wombat. Because of a wombat's intestinal structure and digestion process, its droppings are square shape. Just thinking about that can make someone tense up. While all other animals have intestines that are evenly flexible, wombats have grooved intestines which cause the odd shape. Since wombats are very territorial, this is a unique way for them to warn intruders to leave.
18.
You'll never watch Finding Nemo the same way again. Nemo and his dad Marlin are clownfish. When the movie was first released, people all over the country rushed to pet stores to try to find one of their very own, which, if you have seen it, sort of goes against the film's message. Anyway, here's the thing. All clownfish are born male. That means that all of the eggs that were getting ready to hatch were boys. But if all clownfish are male, well, how did Nemo have a mom? Various animal species are born with no sex chromosome. For example, a turtle's gender is based on the temperature at which its egg is incubated. Clownfish fall into that same category. In the case of the clownfish, a group usually consists of a dominant male, a dominant female, and anywhere between 0 to 5 children. When the dominant female dies, the dominant male becomes the dominant female. At that point, one of the juveniles becomes the dominant male, and the procreation process begins again. I am absolutely begging you to not try and put those pieces of knowledge together. All I can say is that I'm really glad the sequel was not based on any kind of reality.
17.
Aw, now that's adorable. The Adelie penguin is one of the most common types of penguins in existence. They're also among the smallest breeds of penguin. These penguins are very social and live in colonies together, but are likely to become territorial during mating season. They live anywhere from 10 to 20 years, and they mate for life. But how does the mating process happen? Well, that's the sweet part. When one penguin wants to propose to another penguin, it presents its desired mate with a pebble. It's a penguin engagement present, and it's adorable. I can almost hear your collective awws from here.
16.
Loneliness sucks. There comes a time in every child's life when they want a pet. Some parents will go for a dog or cat or, maybe a hamster. Some parents trick their children into getting pets that cannot be cuddled or played with, like a fish or a bird. Then there are some people who go with a classic. One of the most popular pets has always been a guinea pig. They can be cute, playful, and snuggly. They make great pets. If you live in Sweden, it's not as easy to get a guinea pig. In fact, it's impossible to get a guinea pig there. But it's easy to get two. Because in Sweden, they understand that these cute little animals are very social creatures. If you isolate them from others of their kind, they suffer. So Swedish law states that you can only have more than one, and never just one.
15.
Phineas and Ferb were in more danger than we realized. Remember Perry the Platypus, the amazing pet of Phineas and Ferb that was a spy in his side hustle? He was fun, heroic, and always one step ahead of Dr. Doofenshmirtz. What we didn't know was that he was actually seriously dangerous. As if it weren't weird enough that platypi are mammals that lay eggs, they also have another characteristic that makes them even more odd. Platypus are also venomous. They have venom glands that become swollen during mating season. The glands are connected to the claws in their hind legs. These claws are hollow and can be used to inject venom into a predator. While the venom is not lethal to humans, it is extremely painful, and the pain lasts a long time. The worst part is that platypus venom is completely impervious to any kind of painkillers.
14.
Dolphins get high. Dolphins are very intelligent animals. This is a widely known fact. But just how smart they are is something scientists and oceanographers have been studying for decades. In 2013, documentary filmmaker John Down was filming dolphins for a series that appeared on BBC One. While watching footage from one of his many hidden underwater cameras, the crew saw groups of dolphins playing with a pufferfish. They would swim up to the pufferfish and take small, gentle nibble from it, and then pass it off to another dolphin who would repeat the process. After a few minutes, the dolphins just floated around in a euphoric state. Some would float up close to the water's surface and stare at their own reflection for long periods of time. The dolphins were stoned. Plain and simple. Pufferfish contain a toxin called tetrodotoxin, which can kill humans in mere minutes, but dolphins have experimented to the point that they now know just how much toxin they can ingest to get supremely baked, but not die. It seems as if dolphins are the party animals of the sea.
13.
Cats shouldn't have milk. Why is it in nearly every movie or TV show that shows a cat, someone gives the feline a saucer of milk? Even in both of the Batman movies in which Catwoman has appeared, there is a shot of her giving cats a little bowl of milk. She's supposed to be a cat expert, right? So how does she not know that most cats are lactose intolerant? Lactose is the sugar that's produced in milk, and cats, just like many mammals, cannot digest it. This causes the milk to sit in the stomach and ferment, causing cramps, bloating, and gas. If you're giving your cats milk, chances are that your home reeks of cat farts. Another problem experienced by the lactose intolerance is that sugars that go undigested pull water into the part of the intestine where it is trapped. The excess water in the intestines is what causes diarrhea, so all that milk being given to all those cats is causing quite a mess. Also, there is zero nutritional value for cats in milk whatsoever, so why even take the chance?
12.
The beauty of a mother's love. Otters are not monogamous. And this tidbit will not make many of you like male otters very much at all. The norm among otters is that the male finds a partner, mates with her, and then moves on to find a different female to mate with, leaving the female to raise the offspring by herself. Unlike with humans, this is the natural course of the otter's mating ritual. Female otters are not only okay with this, they prefer it. And a female otter is an amazing, caring, protective, and loving mother. An otter family unit is made up of a mother and up to 4 pups, and she never goes anywhere without them. Mother otters carry their young on their backs until they are old enough to walk on their own. The only time the mother will leave her babies is when she hunts, but she does not leave them unprotected. Sea otters find safe places for them and then wrap their pups up in seaweed so they won't be detected by predators or float away. After the hunt, she goes directly back to her young. The pups will stay with the mother for approximately 8 months, then the process begins again. But the most adorable part about this is that otters sleep in the water and hold hands to keep from drifting apart. It's common to see them holding hands with their mates or forming a circle with the mother and her kids.
11.
Squirrels adopt orphans. There's a good chance that if you drive a car, you've run over a squirrel. If you have any kind of empathy, you may have thought, oh no, what if they have babies? They'll starve. But take heart. While rare, squirrels have been known to adopt orphan pups. While more normal and highly sociable mammals, squirrels are actually antisocial and less likely to be in larger groups. This means that a female squirrel will not take just any baby squirrel that loses its parents. They do tend to take nieces and nephews. The reason? Well, it's all about genetics. By raising a niece or nephew, the female keeps the original mother's genes within the familial group, thereby strengthening its family line.
10.
Giraffes are also gross. Remember how cute the penguin mating ritual was? The cute little penguin brings its true love a pebble. It gets laid at the intended's feet and then it becomes a little I love you gift. Well, giraffes do it differently. Much differently. When a giraffe finds the partner it wants to mate with, it licks up their chosen partner's urine to see if they're ready to mate. Isn't that nasty? I can almost hear your collective ews from here.
9.
Spider webs are super strong and tasty too. If you haven't figured it out from one of the Spider-Man movies or reboots or cameos in other Marvel movies, spider webs are strong. Pound for pound, a spider's web can be up to 5 times stronger than steel. The amazing thing about this is that once it's expelled from the spider in a liquid state, the proteins in this fluid self-assemble into interlocking components, which gives the webbing structure of the silk its strength and sturdiness. And just as it is with Spider-Man, the arachnid needs time to produce more of its natural web fluid. One of the things that contribute to this process is that the spider will consume its own web so it can be broken down and reprocessed inside the body. How would that work, you ask? Well, it comes out one end of the digestive system and ends up going right back in the other end. Take a second and let that sink in. And now you can be grossed out.
8,
Female ferrets, or gills, go into heat in the early spring and summer months. When this starts, gills begin to produce high levels of estrogen. If the estrogen level is not reduced, she will eventually go into aplastic anemia and die a slow, excruciatingly painful death. One of the only ways to save her, aside from having her spayed, which is recommended if you want to keep one as a pet, is to let her mate. A female ferret actually has to mate or die. A gill has a unique form of reproduction wherein the only way she can ovulate is by mating. Once she does the deed with any willing male, she ovulates, thereby releasing the excess estrogen, returning her to her normal state. Some vets do have what is called a gill jab that will chemically reduce the amount of estrogen in her body, which is a last resort, but definitely preferable to death.
7,
Friends will be friends. Manatees, or sea cows as they're sometimes called, are huge creatures. They're also gentle, and their main threat comes from not other water-dwelling species, but from us humans, and mainly the boats we drive. It would be expected that since they share a common habitat, they would be at odds with alligators, but this is actually not the case. Manatees and alligators coexist nicely. It's not uncommon to see the two swimming in coordinated patterns just under the surface of the water. In some cases, it even appears that alligators ride on the backs of the sea cows. While alligators are probably instinctively willing to eat a manatee, it would be very difficult for one to do so. When alligators hunt, they grab their prey and spin it in the water to break its neck, otherwise known as a death roll. Then it takes the catch and pulls it to the bottom and stores it for later. The average adult manatee is around 10 feet long and weighs nearly 1,000 pounds. This is far too big for an alligator to handle. Also, gators don't chew their food. They gulp down their catch whole, rip off large chunks, and then swallow that whole. Because their jaws are not big enough to rip manatees apart, they have simply learned to coexist.
6,
Daffy and Donald hang 10. Southern California is a laid-back place to hang out. Beachgoers and surfers flock to the area to take advantage of the weather, the lifestyle, and some serious waves. But lately, they're not the only ones descending upon this stretch of the Pacific coast. California beaches are also becoming home to mallard ducks. Recently, some mallard ducks have been seen catching cresting waves and duck diving. Yes, that is a real surfing term. Then body surfing to shore. This leaves the duck in the backwash, where it's able to bury its bill in the loose sand and find food, namely sand crabs. Many ducks, however, just stay near the shore, allowing swashes to lift them up, carry them back to shore, where they remain in the backwash, finding the crabs and swallowing them whole. Scientists aren't positive how this started, as mallard ducks generally dabble in the freshwater, finding food on or near the surface. The working theory is that they learn to feed on the shore by watching other shoreline birds scavenge the area where people are and food is plentiful.
5,
Long, cold amphibian winter. In the warm months of the year, amphibians seem to be everywhere. You hear the toads and frogs croaking during the nighttime hours. They then crawl into their holes and reappear the next night. But what happens when winter comes? They can't travel to warmer climates like birds, so what happens to them? Like bears, they hibernate. Amphibians are cold-blooded, which means their body temperature falls in line with their environment. It also means that they can handle much colder temperatures than you might expect. During the winter months, frogs and toads that live in or around the water will often go to the bottom of a lake or pond and remain there until things warm up. For land dwellers, they burrow into holes or crevices and remain there, frozen solid until spring starts. Remember, it takes time for them to thaw out. So if you run across an icy frog unable to move, just leave it there. It's taking its time to thaw.
4,
Flamingos are gray. Flamingos, the garish pink bird that just screams, "Welcome to Florida." The image of these birds is iconic, plastered on every form of kitschy cheap souvenir you can find in our Sunshine State. But Florida is actually the con artist of all the states. We call it the Sunshine State, even though it rains just about every day. In the spring, the summer, and the fall, its land is mostly swampy, overgrown shrubbery and not palm trees and beaches, and it's certainly not a warmer climate. It's hot and humid all the time. There are a few cold days between January and February, but that's about it. Also, the happiest place on earth is actually an incredibly overpriced, stressful, frustrating slog of a vacation destination. That's why the flamingo is the perfect bird to be associated with the state. It's fake. You'd expect a cute pink baby to emerge when it hatches, but you'd be wrong. They're actually pretty tough to look at, and they're gray. Why do they appear to be pink, you may ask? No, it's because of their diets. And it's not even totally because of their diets, but because of the diet of their main source of food, brine shrimp. See, brine shrimp eat microscopic algae, which contains carotenoids, which is what gives many species of fruit, vegetable, and plants their color. The flamingos chow down on these brine shrimp, which naturally have a pinkish hue. Combine the shrimp with the algae and boom, you get a pink bird.
3,
Nightmares are real. Cockroach style. People hate cockroaches. To say that they're unattractive is an understatement. They're filthy, and they freak people out when they show themselves. But it gets darker. Oh, so much darker. You see, sometimes cockroaches are tough to kill. They're fast, they can jump or fly, which if you didn't know that and you go to hit it, that's fun to find out. And even stepping on them might not be enough to take them out. Even worse is learning that a cockroach can live up to 2 weeks after it's been decapitated. What fresh hell is this, you may be saying right now? How can this abomination be? Cockroaches have holes throughout their body that are used for breathing, so they don't need a head for that. They also have what's called an open circulatory system, which means their blood flows freely inside its body. There are no pesky blood vessels or arteries to get in the way. The only reason a decapitated roach will finally die is because, well, with no mouth, it can't take in any water. It actually dies from dehydration and not from the actual decapitation. And that's horrifying.
2,
Japanese monkeys are tricky little thieves. If you're ever in certain areas of Japan, you better keep a close watch on your belongings. We know by now that gorillas, monkeys, and chimps are highly intelligent Homo sapiens and have picked up human tendencies. They can communicate with us using sign language. They've been known to use tools in the wild, and they often display many of the same behaviors as their human cousins. And some of those human behaviors are not as legal as we would like. In Japan, macaque monkeys have learned to steal wallets and purses from Japanese citizens and tourists alike. Once stolen, these monkeys go through the stolen personal effects, find coins and other tokens, and use them to buy snacks from vending machines. These monkeys have not only learned thievery, but they also have an entire racket going. Sometimes they blatantly steal someone's belongings and refuse to give it back until the owner gives them a snack. It's like a mini monkey mafia over there.
1,
Animals with pride. Contrary to what you may have been taught, animals from across the spectrum display homosexual and bisexual tendencies. Just as in humans, homosexual and bisexual orientations are a natural and normal part of sexuality. From lions to dolphins, all manners of creatures have been observed in these relationships. Japanese macaques are commonly bisexual, exploring same-sex partners regularly. According to PETA, over 90% of sexual activity among giraffes is homosexual. Homosexuality is more common in male lions than female, but lesbian relationships have been observed as well. African and Asian elephants have same-sex relationships that go beyond sex by showing their mates affection through activities such as grooming and wrapping their trunks together, like this. While some animals such as penguins are essentially monogamous and mate for life, the most famous of these being Reggie and Ronnie, a male couple at the London Zoo, others such as bottlenose dolphins have no preference as to which sex they mate with. They regularly have sex with any other dolphin that's around, and even have been seen in pods having relations with multiple same-sex partners at the same time. Oh, those naughty, naughty dolphins. So, what are some of your favorite, maybe not as well known animal facts that you know? Let us know in the comments below, or tweet your answers to us at List25, or, check us out on Facebook. Be sure to like, click, share, and subscribe, and, do all that YouTube stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.
Hey everyone, we're checking out the botanical world's weirder side today as we count down 15 of the weirdest plants on Earth. Let's start with number 15, the Cape Sundew. The Cape Sundew, it's a carnivorous plant that's native to the Cape region of South Africa, and it's got an unusual method of capturing and digesting insects, something it's needed to develop to be able to thrive in the nutrient-poor soil of its habitat. Growing in the Fynbos biome of South Africa, where there's a Mediterranean climate with wet winters and dry summers, you'll usually find them in sandy or peaty soils in open, sunny areas. They're recognizable by its long, narrow leaves that are covered in glandular hairs. It's these hairs that are crucial to their ability to trap insects. As they secrete a sticky substance all along themselves, once an insect lands on them, they become stuck, and the leaf then begins to slowly curl around it. While this happens, the insect is coated with digestive enzymes that release essential nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, which the plant is also able to absorb. It's this method of feeding is what allows the Cape Sundew to thrive in places that are low in those nutrients and gives them a significant advantage over other plants in the regions. During the summer months, the plant will flower too and produce delicate pink or white flowers on tall, slender stalks. These rise well above the sticky traps to avoid capturing any potential pollinators because, as well as relying on insects for nutrition, they also need them to procreate, and for this to happen, they definitely don't want them to become stuck. Number 14, the black bat flower. The black bat flower, it's a surprising plant that's native to the tropical regions of Southeast Asia, including Thailand, Malaysia, and southern China, and it's a perennial species that develops flowers that look just like a bat in flight. In its natural habitat, the plant thrives in the undergrowth of tropical rainforests, where it benefits from the warm conditions and scattered sunlight that filter through the canopy. It prefers rich, well-drained soils that are high in organic matter, which is exactly what it gets on the forest floor, where decaying plant material provides plenty of nutrients. The flowers, once they develop, are dark purple to black and have long, whisker-like growths that can extend up to 28 inches, or about 71 centimeters, giving the appearance of a bat's wings and whiskers. This unusual appearance isn't just for show, it plays a role in the plant's ability to reproduce. The dark color and the shape of the flowers attract pollinators that are active in low light conditions, such as certain species of flies and beetles. Their ability to thrive in the shaded parts of tropical forests has been crucial for its survival, and in the competitive ecosystems of Southeast Asian rainforests, there are so many plants competing for light, it can be a limiting factor for plant growth. The black bat flower's large, dark green leaves therefore have developed to capture and use limited light that penetrates the forest canopy, that provide enough energy for the plant to develop, and what are some of the most unique flowers of any plant species. Number 13, the cobra lily. Now, despite its name, the cobra lily isn't technically a species of lily, and instead its alternative name is more accurate, the California pitcher plant. Found in the nutrient-poor bogs of Northern California and Southern Oregon in the United States, it's a carnivorous species that takes on quite an unusual appearance. As is common with plants that have developed ways to capture prey, cobra lilies thrive in environments where other plants struggle, mainly in soils or acidic bogs that are low in essential nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus. These soils are normally found in places with a constant flow of cold, low-oxygen water, and the cobra lily has evolved to take advantage of these harsh conditions by developing a specialized way of obtaining nutrients. Identifiable by its tubular leaves, which resemble a cobra with an inflated hood, complete with a fork-leaf tip that mimics a snake's tongue, this shape is central to the plant's way of feeding. The leaves are actually hollow and filled with water, which creates a trap for unsuspecting insects. This species doesn't rely on sticky substances or fast movements to capture prey. It instead uses a complex system of lures and traps. The interior of the cobra lily's leaves is lined with downward-pointing hairs and slippery surfaces that prevent insects from escaping once they've entered. The plant lures the insects into its trap with a combination of nectar and visual cues, and once inside, the insect becomes disoriented by the translucent patches on the leaves, which looks like exits but lead deeper into the trap. Eventually, the insect falls into the digestive fluid at the base of the leaf, and from there, there's no way back. They are then broken down by bacteria and other microorganisms, and the plant's then able to absorb the nutrients that are released. Blooming in late spring to early summer, cobra lilies develop tall flower stalks topped with yellow-greenish flowers. Now, those flowers grow much higher than the foliage, which is something that's common in carnivorous plants because it ensures that the insects that have been attracted as pollinators don't then fall victim to the traps. Number 12. Carrion plant. The carrion plant, which is also known as the starfish flower, is a species of succulent that can be found in the arid regions of southern Africa, including Namibia, Botswana, and South Africa. It thrives in dry, rocky habitats and has developed a series of drought-resistant adaptations to be able to do so. It typically grows in well-drained, sandy soils and can often be found in the open, sunny areas or shaded by rocks and sparse vegetation. The plant's succulent nature allows it to store water in its thick, fleshy stems, which helps it to survive the harsh conditions of its environment. Now, the most impressive thing about the carrion plant, though, is its flower, which can reach up to 16 inches or 40 centimeters in diameter. Its shape is very similar to that of a starfish, with 5 points that are covered in fine hairs and often marked with patterns. The most obvious thing about the flower that you'll notice in real life, though, is not the way that it looks, but the awful smell that it releases, which is similar to that of rotting flesh. There is good reason for this, of course, because the primary pollinators of the carrion plant are flies. The flower's scent, combined with its hairy texture and coloration, mimic the appearance and smell of meat, so that flies, mistaking the flower for a potential food source or breeding ground, land on it to transfer pollen from one flower to another. These flowers bloom mainly in the late summer to early autumn, which is when flies are most active, and despite its deceitful way of pollinating, the plant is harmless to its visitors. The flies, though, receive no benefit from the encounter, as the flower provides no nutrition to them, but the plant successfully ensures the transfer of its pollen. Number 11. Saguaro cactus. The saguaro cactus is one of the most famous types of cactus, and it almost seems as an unofficial icon of the American Southwest, particularly the Sonoran Desert. It's native to the region and found across Arizona, California, and the Mexican state of Sonora. This is a place that experiences extreme temperatures, intense sunlight, and very little rainfall, which creates a challenging environment for plant life, and for any chance to survive, species have to develop various characteristics to overcome difficulties. Saguaro cactuses have adapted so well, though, that they can grow surprisingly big. Heights of over 40 feet or 12 meters are common, and they can live for 150 to 200 years. The cactus has a shape with a central column and then branches or arms that usually begin to grow when the cactus is about 50 to 70 years old, and are what give the saguaro its distinctive form. Interestingly, though, they don't actually retain the same shape all the time, and it's because of this that it's one of the most effective adaptations in the desert. Its thick, waxy skin reduces water loss, and its ribbed structure allows the cactus to massively expand and contract, which allows it to store large amounts of water during the rare times that it actually rains. A mature saguaro can absorb and hold up to 200 gallons or 910 liters of water during a single rainstorm. This water is then slowly used during the long, dry periods, sustaining the cactus through the harsh conditions, and it will slowly shrink during this time. The success of the saguaro cactus has led to it becoming a vital player in the desert ecosystem, as well as providing shelter for a number of species, such as the Gila woodpecker, which creates nesting cavities in the cactus's flesh. Its flowers, which bloom in late spring and early summer, provide nectar for a variety of species, including bees, bats, and birds. Later in the year, in the summer, its fruit will ripen, and this becomes a much-needed food source for many animals, including birds, mammals, and insects that themselves struggle to survive in the desert environment. Number 10. Grenadier's Baobab. Grenadier's Baobab is a truly unusual tree that's native to Madagascar, and it's named after the French botanist Alfred Grenadier, who'd studied plant life on the island in the 19th century. This baobab is recognized by its massive trunk and unique bottle-like shape, which makes it a standout feature in arid regions where it grows. They're usually found in dry deciduous forests and scrublands of western Madagascar, particularly around the coastline and along the banks of rivers and lakes. These trees have adapted to thrive in environments with long dry seasons and little rainfall, and to do so have developed enormous cylindrical trunks which can reach diameters of up to 33 feet or 10 meters and heights over 98 feet or 30 meters. This trunk serves as a water storage reservoir, allowing the tree to endure long periods of drought by storing thousands of gallons of water in its spongy wood, and will swell or shrink depending on how much water is currently being stored. The bark of the tree is smooth and gray with a reddish tint, and it regenerates easily even after being stripped. The branches, which emerge near the top of the trunk, create a canopy that resembles the roots of an upturned tree, giving it the nickname upside-down tree, and have large white flowers that bloom at night and are pollinated by nocturnal animals such as bats and moths. The flowers are followed by elongated oval-shaped fruits known as monkey bread, which contain a nutritious pulp and a number of seeds. These baobabs are vitally important to the local ecosystem here and the lives of the Malagasy people. The tree provides food, water, and shelter for a variety of wildlife, and the fruits are rich in vitamin C and other nutrients, making them an important food source for both animals and humans. Additionally, the seeds, leaves, and bark have medicinal properties, and they're used in traditional remedies. And while the wood of the baobab is too spongy to be turned into timber, it is used to make items like rope and cloth. Number 9. Doll's Eye. Found in the deciduous forests of eastern North America, the doll's eye is a strange-looking plant that's also called the white baneberry. If you ever come across this one though, it's probably best to keep your distance, because while you may be tempted to pick the fruit, you might end up regretting it. Thriving in the shady undergrowth of the rich, moist forests, often alongside other native species like ferns and woodland wildflowers, they prefer well-drained soils and will usually be found in areas with scattered sunlight. The plant typically reaches a height of about 24 to 36 inches, or about 60 to 90 centimeters, and produces leaves with serrated edges. These leaves are a vibrant green and give the plant a lush appearance in the spring and summer. It's in late spring that the plants develop small white flowers clustered on a thick upright stem, and then by midsummer the flowers give way to the berries that they are most famous for. They're white with a prominent black dot and look just like the pupils of eyes, which are then held on thick red stems and can be quite strange to find as you're walking through a forest. These berries, though, are highly toxic. They contain cardiogenic toxins that can make you quite ill if you eat or even touch them. It's not just the berries that contain the toxins either. They're also present in the leaves and roots, meaning only those who are familiar with the plant should get close to them. Despite the toxicity to humans, though, the doll's eye isn't dangerous to every animal, and the fruits are eaten by various species of birds, which are not affected by the toxins. This helps to disperse the seeds and helps spread the plant in its natural habitat. Doll's eyes have also been historically important to various Native American cultures, where it was used medicinally in extremely small, carefully controlled doses, despite its toxicity. These uses are highly specialized, of course, and should not be attempted without extensive knowledge and expertise. Number 8. The parachute flower. The parachute flower is an unusual-looking species that can be found across the subtropical regions of South Africa, the Kingdom of Eswatini, and Mozambique. It thrives in rocky, well-drained soils within its habitat, often growing in open woodlands and scrublands where it can climb over rocks and shrubs. It prefers environments with bright, indirect light and benefits from the occasional shade, and as a type of perennial vine, it can reach lengths of up to 10 feet or about 3 meters, using its twinning stems to climb and spread. The thing from which it gets its name is its elaborate blossoms. Each flower is composed of 5 petals that are fused at the tips and form a cage-like structure. The flowers are normally pale green to white, with patterns and textures that increase their delicate parachute-like appearance. This is more than just a visually appealing design, though. It's also a sophisticated trap for pollinating insects. The flower emits a scent that attracts small flies, which are drawn to the flower's promise of food or breeding grounds. Once a fly enters the flower, it is temporarily captured within the cage structure by a series of downward-pointing hairs that prevent its escape. During this time, the fly collects and transfers pollen, and after a few hours, the hairs wither, which allows the fly to escape and hopefully go on to pollinate another flower. This plant does require very little care, as long as it has well-drained soil and is protected from frost, with regular watering during the growing season and reduced watering during the winter to help maintain its health. Moving on to number 7, Welwitschia mirabilis. Welwitschia mirabilis is one of the most extraordinary plants on Earth, and it's an ancient plant that's endemic to the Namib Desert, along the coast of Namibia and Angola in southwestern Africa. It does have an unusual appearance, and it's extremely resilient in one of the harshest environments on the planet, and as a result it's become a subject of significant scientific interest. It's a type of gymnosperm, which is the plant group that includes conifers, but it looks very different from its relatives. The plant consists of only 2 leaves, a stem base, and roots, and these 2 leaves continue to grow throughout the plant's life, often becoming tattered and split into ribbons by the desert wind. Maybe the most surprising thing about it, however, is just how long it can live. Individual plants can survive for over 1,000 years, with some estimates suggesting they may reach ages of up to 2,000 years or even more. This incredible lifespan is supported by a deep taproot system, which anchors the plant and helps it access subterranean water sources. The slow growth and long lifespan are adaptations in response to the extreme aridity and poor soil nutrition in the Namib Desert, and are the reasons why it's one of the most successful plants there. The species has male and female flowers that grow on separate plants. The reproductive structures are cone-like, with male plants producing pollen cones and female plants producing larger seed cones. Pollination is primarily carried out by insects, particularly beetles, which are attracted to the nectar produced by the male cones. After pollination, the female cones develop seeds that are dispersed by the wind, and those seeds can remain dormant for years or even decades until conditions are just right for them to begin to grow. Number 6. The squirting cucumber? Well, the squirting cucumber, it's a bizarre species that's found in regions around the Mediterranean. It's a member of a family which includes cucumbers, melons, and squash, but it has a very unique way of spreading the seeds that gives it its common name. Growing on dry, rocky, and sandy soils, often alongside roads and fields and coastal areas, it's well adapted to the Mediterranean climate with the hot, dry summers and mild, wet winters. The plant is a perennial herb with rough, hairy leaves and stems, and its leaves are lobed and often heart-shaped, which is a typical appearance for a member of this cucumber family. Where it differs, though, is its explosive seed dispersal mechanism. The plant produces small oval fruits that look like miniature cucumbers and at first are green, but turn yellowish as they mature. When fully ripe, the slightest touch triggers an unexpected reaction, whereby the fruit forcefully ejects its seeds along with a slimy liquid. This ejection can throw the seeds several feet away from the parent plant and ensure that they land in a clear area where they can begin to grow. This unique method is driven by the buildup of pressure within the fruit. As the seeds mature, the fruit produces a mucus-like liquid, and the internal pressure increases. When the fruit detaches from the stem or it's disturbed, the pressure is released, causing it to burst and expel the seeds. This adaptation not only helps the plant spread its seeds over a wider area, but also reduces competition between the parent plant and the newly grown ones. Despite all its fascinating characteristics, the squirting cucumber can be invasive in some areas outside its native range. Its ability to thrive in disturbed soils and its aggressive seed dispersal mechanism can lead to its spread in non-native habitats. The plant also contains various compounds that, while they have the potential for medicinal properties, can also be toxic in large enough quantities, meaning you're far better off with a normal cucumber than trying to eat one of these. Unless that's your thing. Number 5. The dancing plant. The dancing plant, which you may also know as the telegraph plant or semaphore plant, is a weird species that's known for its ability to quickly move its leaves in response to environmental stimuli. It's native to the tropical and subtropical regions of Asia, including India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and even parts of China, and it's closely related to beans and peas. Of course, virtually every plant is able to move in response to conditions such as reaching towards sunlight, but these changes usually happen very slowly. In the case of the dancing plant, however, they happen much faster and can happen when they're touched, when temperatures change, or follow a light source. When they move by touch, it's a process called seismonesty, and when they move by changes in light, it's something called nyctinisty. The plant's leaves are trifoliate, meaning each leaf is divided into 3 leaflets. This is to help optimize light absorption for photosynthesis and potentially deter herbivores by confusing them or appearing unappealing by imitating an animal. They function like joints and are capable of rapid changes in pressure, which is the pressure of the contents within a cell against the cell wall. When turgor pressure in these cells changes, the leaflet can move up, down, or rotate, and during the day the leaflets move to maximize exposure to sunlight. The dancing plant responds to heat and vibrations and has actually been shown to dance more vigorously when exposed to rhythmic sound waves such as music. This behavior has become of particular interest, although the exact evolutionary advantage of this response isn't entirely clear. Cultivating it requires replicating its natural tropical environment, with plenty of sunlight, warmth, and humidity needed to support its growth and movement, and maybe even a little music. Number 4. Creosote bush. The creosote bush is a hardy evergreen shrub that grows across the landscapes of the southwestern United States and northern Mexico, being a regularly seen species in desert ecosystems like the Mojave, Sonoran, and Chihuahuan deserts, where it's had to make a series of adaptations to endure the environment. Usually growing up to 13 feet or about 4 meters tall and developing small yellow flowers during the spring, they are quite delicate when they're young, but if they survive the first 5 or 6 years, they become incredibly tough and can survive prolonged periods of drought. Clonal colonies of this species, however, can survive for thousands of years, with some of the oldest known creosote bush rings, such as the King's Clone in the California Mojave Desert, thought to be nearly 11,000 years old, making them some of the oldest living organisms on Earth. There are 2 main reasons for this. The first is they don't reproduce in the same way as most other plants and can simply send out new shoots when the conditions are right. And they also have the ability to inhibit growth of other plants in the nearby area, meaning that there's far less for them to have to compete with. During prolonged droughts, the bush can shed its leaves to further reduce water loss, entering a state of dormancy until conditions are better. The plant's roots are also crucial to its survival. They have an extensive root system that can spread to capture surface moisture from light rains and extend deep into the soil to tap into underground water. This dual root strategy allows the plant to exploit different water sources, ensuring its survival during various weather conditions. Number 3. The lobster claw. The lobster claw plant is native to the tropical regions of Central and South America and often known as the false bird of paradise because of its unique flowers that look like a lobster's claw or the beak of a bird. It's a species that thrives in the warm, humid environments in countries like Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia, and it's usually found in tropical rainforests. The plant is a perennial, meaning it can live for several years, and it can reach heights of up to 6 feet or about 2 meters, although on occasion some species can grow much taller if conditions are just right. The plant produces long, pendulous flower spikes that themselves can grow up to 3 feet or a meter long. Now, these spikes are made up of brightly colored bracts or modified leaves that range in color from red to pink, orange, and yellow, and often with green or yellow edges. The true flowers, which are small and hidden within the bracts, are typically yellow or green. This, of course, looks amazing, but there's an important reason behind having an appearance like this. The vibrant color and structure of the inflorescence attract a range of pollinators, most importantly, hummingbirds. The bracts hold small amounts of nectar, which encourages the bird to visit and drink, and this gets them to transfer pollen as they move from one flower to another. In addition to its role in pollination, the lobster claw plant also provides a habitat and food for other wildlife. The dense foliage offers shelter for small animals and insects, and the plant also has adapted for dry periods by developing rhizomes or underground stems. They can store water and nutrients, helping the plant to survive, and continue to provide nutrients to the animals that rely on it too. Number 2. The corpse flower. The ominously named corpse flower is undoubtedly one of the most peculiar plants in the world. Native to the rainforest of Sumatra in Indonesia, it's known for its giant size, rare blooming cycle, and its awful smell, which resembles that of rotting flesh. It's a tuberous herbaceous plant, which means that it grows from a large underground tuber. When the plant is not in bloom, it produces a single giant leaf that can grow up to 20 feet or 6 meters tall and 16 feet or 4.5 meters wide, looking more like a small tree. This leaf lasts for about a year, during which it performs photosynthesis to build up energy in reserves in the tuber underground. When it's collected enough nutrition, it's ready to grow its inflorescence, which is the largest unbranched cluster of flowers in the plant kingdom. It's made up of tall central spadix that's surrounded by a large petal-like spathe. The spathe is usually green on the outside and deep red on the inside, which replicates the appearance of raw meat. The structure can reach heights of up to 10 feet or 3 meters and a diameter of up to 4 feet or 1.2 meters. The corpse flower's bloom is a rare event, occurring only one every few years and lasting for just 1 or 2 days. Its cycle is unpredictable, and it can take up to a decade or more for a tuber to accumulate enough energy to flower. That scent, which is made from a complex mixture of chemicals including dimethyl trisulfide and isovaleric acid, is extremely effective at attracting pollinators such as carrion beetles and flesh flies. Even though it's deeply unpleasant to be around when it flowers, the corpse flower is often grown at botanical gardens around the world, and it becomes a major event when it finally does bloom. It is so unlike anything else you usually see that if you ever have the chance to see one, you should go. It's well worth it. Number 1. Lithops. When you think of a plant, there's probably a few structures or features that you'd expect to see, but some have developed a very different appearance, with the weirdest of all being a genus of succulents known as lithops, native to the arid regions of southern Africa, including Namibia, Botswana, and South Africa. They found a way to blend in seamlessly with their rocky surroundings. They are specifically adapted to survive in areas with very little rainfall and grow in sandy, rocky soil where they're well camouflaged. Each plant is made up of a pair of fleshy, succulent leaves that are fused together, forming a shape that looks more like a small, smooth stone or pebble. The leaves are typically gray, brown, or green, with patterns and markings that mimic those of the surrounding rocks. This not only provides protection from predators, but also reduces water loss by minimizing the surface area. They also have a specialized growth pattern that allows them to survive extended periods of drought. The leaves store water during dry periods, and the plant relies on those reserves. In the growing season, which is the rainy season in their native habitats, lithops produce new leaves. The old leaves shrivel and die as the new pair of leaves emerge from the center, and this cycle makes sure that the plant maintains its water reserves and can continue to grow. Typically in late autumn or early winter, mature lithops produce a single daisy-like flower from the crack between the two leaves. The flowers are usually white or yellow and can be surprisingly large compared to the size of the rest of the plant. These blooms are pollinated by insects, and after pollination, the flowers develop into seed capsules. When it rains, the capsules open to release the seeds and allow this species to spread elsewhere. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Thank you to our channel members.
5 years ago, millions of years ago, a number of plants went through a remarkable adaptation. These photosynthetic plants live in nutrition-poor environments, often lacking in sufficient nitrogen, and so they evolved the capacity to supplement their diets by trapping and eating animal flesh. Like my mom used to say, if you need calcium, eat a milkman. Yup. That's what she said. Perhaps the most well-known of these carnivorous plants is the Venus flytrap. Its leaves are divided into 2 lobes hinged along a midrib. Small trigger hairs on each lobe are extremely sensitive to touch. When these hairs are bent, ion channels at the base of the hairs open. This generates an electrochemical signal, which then changes cells in the midrib and allow the lobes, which are held under tension, to snap shut. It is truly as if we are watching the subtle gears tick of nature's exquisite clock. Why did you bleep that? I said clock. You're making it sound like I'm saying cock. Oh, okay. The leaves shut in 2 phases. At first, the closure is fast, but only part of the way, trapping larger prey, but allowing smaller, less nutritious animals to escape. Hey, I saw that. That is so fucked up. As if the fly doesn't have enough to worry about. If the right size insect is captured, the finger-like cilia that lines the top of the leaves lace together, eventually forming an airtight seal so that the plant's digestive juices don't leak out and bacteria can't get in. Over the next 5 to 12 days, the insect, or very unlucky frog, is digested, after which the fly trap will open again. If this seems grotesque to you, imagine what a salad looks like to a plant. Think of this as revenge for your mixed greens of horror. If the fly trap is like getting your arms chopped off by the sneeze screen at a Chili's salad bar, the Drosera is death by lollipop hugging. The Drosera is also called the sundeer. Its tiny tentacle hairs glisten as though tipped with a drop of dew. It is in fact not deer, but rather mucilage secreted by the sundeer's mucilage glands. No, this mucilage is not like that peanut buttery lung cookie you throated up on the subway. This mucilage is a thick, sticky, glue-like substance that both ensnares and digests its prey. The tentacles respond to the slightest touch, causing other tentacles to slowly bend towards the prey and downwards. The more the animal struggles, the more they are entangled in this external stomach. Except if you are this spider. This spider does not give a fuck. Some of the largest carnivorous plants employ a different, more passive strategy. Nepenthes, or pitcher plants, have modified leaves that act as pitfall traps. Sugary nectar is secreted near the pitcher's peristome, or rim, drawing insects towards a slippery inner wall, which causes prey to fall into and eventually drown in the digestive juices below. What the hell angle is this for a shot? The inventor of the Kickstarter toilet cam finally got a break. Yeah, totally, it's for nature videos. Just be #blessed that you don't have to worry about falling into a stomach. In Borneo, 3 species of Nepenthes engage in a mutualistic interaction with the mountain tree shrew. These plants produce toilet pitchers, which is already 2 words that should not be that close together. They exude a nectar in a way that is only readily accessible when the shrew places its butt over the pitcher's orifice. It's like a form of payment, like a restaurant with toilets as seats. It's a lot to take in. That's what the pitcher plant said. Mutualism is the way 2 organisms of different species exist in a relationship in which each individual benefits from the activity of the other. The shrew benefits from eating the exuded nectar, while the pitcher plant benefits because someone shits in its mouth. Win-win! The feces of the shrew is, in fact, a simple and efficient way for the plant to receive nutrients, and it is a perfect example of one of nature's most fundamental rules. If there is a hole, something will crawl up in there and poop in it. You can try this, by the way. Lie down and put some honey on your nose. And open your mouth. It's so f***ed up. Hey, Bob? 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 Seriously? Bob? Bob?
Hey, should I open this or not?
I think you should, Dr. Binox. Oh, no need, Dr. Binox.
Oh, hey there, Clouds. How are you?
Just about fine, Dr. Binox. Quick, rush inside. I'm about to burst. Oh, you Nimbus Stratus. Can never control. Always keep showering.
Hey, did you get that word? Nimbostratus. Well, it is a type of cloud. And today, I'll tell you all about different types of clouds. Zoom in. Clouds can be divided into 3 major groups. Low clouds, that is below 6,500 feet. Mid clouds, 6,500 to 20,000 feet. And high clouds, above 20,000 feet. Go back! Go! Hey! No! Why are you pushing Mr. Cumulonimbus?
Because he's trying to come in all the categories.
Oh, but that's because Cumulonimbus is one of those few clouds that towers across all the 3 categories. See? Told you. And you don't make him angry because he's also known as the thunderstorm cloud. Cumulus clouds. This type of cloud is what you see most often. It generally appears in the morning, grows, and then dissolves again towards the evening. They are low-level clouds and often resemble cauliflowers. Stratocumulus clouds. Well, these look like honeycomb round masses or rolls. They are low, puffy, grayish, or whitish clouds that occur in patches with the sky visible in between. And these are low-level clouds too. Altocumulus. This is a mid-level cloud that looks like white or gray patches. It is the most common cloud, which often appears with other clouds as well. And this one is my favorite, the nimbostratus clouds, which are also known as the continuous rain clouds. They are dark and gray, diffused by falling rain or snow, and thick enough to block out the sun. This too is a mid-level cloud. Now we come to the high clouds, and cirrus is the most common one. When these clouds cross the sun's disk, they hardly diminish its brightness. Before sunrise and after sunset, cirrus is often colored bright yellow or red. Cirrocumulus clouds are high-level clouds. They are composed of very small elements in the form of grains or ripples. Trivia time! Your average cumulus cloud can weigh more than 1 million pounds. Fog is actually a stratus type of cloud that appears very close to the ground. So guys, this is me zooming out. Tune in next time for more fun facts. Hey kids, you liked my videos, didn't you? Before you go, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the bell so you won't miss out on my latest videos. See you.
Since the living things on Earth get all the light and warmth from the sun, we can say that our whole life is shaped by it. Changing seasons, day and night, warm and cold climates, all depend on the sun. Let's try to make sense of it. So what are day and night? The day lasts from the moment the sun rises until the moment it goes down. And nighttime, on the opposite, is from sunset until sunrise. The way the sun appears in the sky and disappears from it is connected to the revolution of the Earth around the sun and to the Earth's rotation around its own axis. The Earth spins as it moves in space. It somewhat reminds us of a children's game called a spinning top. Because of its rotation, the Earth turns one half or the other towards the sun. On the side that faces the sun, it's daytime, and on the opposite side that's not lit by the sun, it's nighttime. The change of seasons also depends on the Earth's position relative to the sun. In the part of the Earth where the air and surface are well lit and warmed by the sun, it's summer. And in the part where the sun's rays just skim the surface, it's winter. There are two regions on the Earth that can never be properly warmed by the sun. They are the North and South Poles. They are always covered in ice. Very few plants and animals live there. Not many living things can survive in such cold climates. At the same time, on the equator, which goes around the middle of our planet, it's always summer. This part of the Earth is well warmed by the sun, and the times of year only differ in the amount of rainfall and the direction of winds. Even the calendar we use is related to the sun. What we call a year is the time in which the Earth makes one revolution around our star. The beautiful star called the sun. Our daily life and our holidays depend on it, as well as all life on the planet Earth.
Play with me in the Kids Academy app and learn about math, reading, writing, and more. Scan the QR code or use the link in the description. Let's have fun!
God damn it, Russia, we need that oil! Reactivate those pipelines or I swear, my oil brings all the balls to the bar. And they're like, okay, wait, hear me out, guys. What if, instead of going to war about energy resources and stuff, what if we just make an artificial sun? You talking about fusion Japan? Sounds like a bunch of commie propaganda. No, he's right. We can build a new one to power everything. Better, stronger, faster. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. Sorry, geez, what? It's a good song, eh? Hey, China, you got that shield blanket finished, bro? You know it, baby. Fusion! Fusion! Yo, science bros, I finished the cryostat. Sick! This reactor's gonna be hotter than 50 suns, and we'll never have energy problems again! Fusion! You know, China, it was really sweet when you built that other reactor back in 2006. Did I ever thank you for that?
You did, but I'll always be happy to receive more praise.
You rule. Seriously. So helpful. It really is amazing what we've accomplished since we stopped squabbling and focused on building cool stuff.
Yes. So good. All right, the time we've all been waiting for. Here comes the sun.
Here comes the sun. Toodle-doo-doo.
Oh, Daddy! Son, come to Papa!
Oh, wait, that wasn't supposed to happen. Shut up! This is wholesome as f.